Hi. A very good afternoon, or should I say good morning, to each and every one of you here who are tuning in live through our Pioneer Facebook pages. Today, again, this morning we have our Connect at Pioneer, our regular turning to Monday sessions, where we share useful table topics and interesting things that are happening around in and about Singapore and in the neighborhood and community as well. And today, I really have the pleasure to have with me Terence. You'll hear from him a lot of information later on. But before that, I would like to invite each and every one of you who are tuning in to like and share this video or this live feed, either through our Pioneer community page or my Facebook community page, so that more of our friends and those who are connected with us on Facebook will be able to hear and see this morning session. And more importantly, in fact, we hope through these various webinars, catered in particular for our Pioneer residents, to enthuse you all to do something new, something interesting. And today, Terence later on shortly will be sharing on aquaponics, something very interesting. I was just asking him just before the show whether it's something to do, hydroponics. Then he corrected me and said, well, there's something different. Well, if you will hear from him shortly. But before that, Singapore has just launched our Singapore Green Plan, and the climate change agenda has become so very important and vital and crucial. Last year we had the circuit breaker, followed by many months of many of us working from home and finding new ways and new hobbies to keep ourselves and our families occupied. I started seeing many of you through your Facebook pages and Instagram posts sharing about cooking, baking, and of course growing plants and vegetables and edible vegetables as well at home. And so today we're gonna use the next hour or so to share a bit about aquaponics. I'm also wanting to hear more from Terence, and really to get all of us excited about this concept of aquaponics and what you can do actually, even from the comfort of your home, to enjoy and perhaps even build a sustainable kind of greens or grow sustainable greens at your home. And without much ado, actually, in fact, I would like to hand over this time to Terence, because I know and I saw he has lots of information and slides to share. And for those who are tuning in, once again, after this sharing by Terence, we'll be having a Q&A session. So do post your comments on the comments portion. We have a team of volunteers behind this, looking up for the questions, and then we can post it with Terence at the end of the last 15 minutes of today's webinar. And I've got a special guest later. I'll be getting one of our RN chairpersons, Shamendra, who just came by from his home in Pioneer, and he'll be joining us in the Q&A session later on. Without much ado, I would like to hand over this time to Terence to let you get a very enlightening next half hour or so on aquaponics. Terence, out to you.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay, good morning, residents. All right, so I'll probably take you through a little bit more into aquaponics. Then along the way, if you've got any questions, feel free to post on the Facebook page. All right, so are we on the slide already? Okay, just a moment. Okay, so good morning once again. So basically this sharing is by our social group, Aquaponics Singapore. As much as possible, we'll try our best to share our knowledge, but of course, a lot of things we are also learning along the way. So there might be some of the things that might not be covered. Not to worry, feel free to post your questions to us, or you can also post your questions to Aquaponics Singapore, so at least we can assist you further. Let me slide to the next page. Okay, so that's a quick introduction about myself. So anyway, I'm a full-time office worker and a weekend farmer. And basically, I have close to about 5 years of experience in aquaponics. And I'm a co-founder of Aquaponics Singapore and also a professional member of Aquaponics Association. And I'm also the advisor for some of the projects overseas. Okay, so maybe I'll just take you through, okay, what are the projects that I and my team have actually done. Okay, so it covers from the smallest project to the biggest project lah. So this is just to give you an idea on actually aquaponics can start in a very small unit, okay, to a very big unit. All right. So like for example, what you have seen over here is that there's an 80-liter mini aquaponics system and also a 120 aquaponics system lah. So what you're seeing here is actually a HDB model. Yeah. It is actually the size of a washing machine, yeah, and I would say you will not be able to grow a lot of vegetables over here in this system, but I mean if you can go vertical with vertical towers, possibly you can actually increase your yield. Okay, so for most of the residents who maybe stay in HDB, these are actually some of the systems that you can look into. Yeah. So of course, yeah, we do have some other projects that we have done for our members. You can just have a look at the different sizes with 240 liters with 360 liters. So all these liters, how do we calculate? It's actually from the fish tank size that we have. Yeah. Then of course, we also help some of our friends who have actually space within their factory or within their community space. We actually help them to build up their aquaponics system. Yeah. So you can see that if you have a bigger space, of course you can actually grow more. Yeah. And of course the fish that you can have is actually quite a bit more, okay, than what you can have in the house. Yeah, and so this is what we have done overseas for Philippines school. Yeah, so I mean sometimes we also want to contribute our time over to the international community. Okay, and of course we do provide our guidance to many commercial those people who are into their hobbies or maybe in their community projects in locals and overseas. Yeah. So the backdrop that you are seeing is actually an aquaponics farm in Fairmont. Yeah. So we are involved, okay, in the sense that we are supporting the builders. I mean, in providing some of the expertise, yeah, on how to help them to build up their capability in Singapore. Okay, and I'm just glad to share that actually we have a very big community in Singapore, and actually these are some of the pictures that we have gathered over the past few years. Yeah, so you can see some of them. They actually went through we do have community training for our own members, and we have a very good time. Yeah, and a lot of times everyone came in with different experience also, and we learn along the way. Okay, so these are just some pictures. Hopefully that will actually ignite your interest. But of course, before we really go into aquaponics, let us go into the overview also. Okay, so of course, what is aquaponics all about? Yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, you can look at it as a system that combines the growing of fishes and also the plants together. So of course, in order to do aquaponics well, there is these two things that you need to have. All right. One is you need to have fish. Two is to have the plants. All right. But of course, there's also one important thing that is very important in the whole process, which is called the nitrate. All right. So let me explain what is this nitrate all about. But you can have a look at this whole thing of aquaponics cycle. So it is a very natural process. Yeah. So first of all, the fish actually produce the fish poo. Yeah. And this fish poo actually becomes the source of food for the plants. And you can see that along the process, the plants actually, okay, the fish pool actually converts, it's actually ammonia lah, okay? Ammonia converts to nitrite, then to nitrate. And the plants actually absorb these nitrates, okay? And then they of course, they grow bigger. Then along the process, what they do is that they actually cleanse the water and return the clean water back to the fishes. So this is actually an ecosystem that we are trying to create. Yeah. Yeah, some of you might be thinking, wow, very, very difficult to understand. But this will give you more understanding, all right? So the whole concept goes like that, okay? The bottom is actually the fishes, okay? The top is actually the plants. So basically, as you can see, there's a pump that actually pumps the water up to the grow bed where the plants are growing, okay? There's also a bell siphon. Yeah, a bell siphon that is actually inside the grow bed. This actually serves as a automated flushing system, whereby the water is automatically reaches a certain point, and then all the water are flushed back to the fish tank. Yeah. So this whole process goes on and on, and in a way, I would say this whole process is automated because everything goes naturally by itself. Yeah. The only thing that probably you need to do is to feed the fishes well. Yeah. Because the only thing if you feed the fishes well, when the fish grows better, they provide better fish pool, and this fish pool is being taken in by the plants. Yeah. So of course, yeah, history of aquaponics is also very important. Aquaponics is not a new thing in Singapore, I would say. So it has been practiced for quite a number of years. But of course, beyond Singapore, it was actually covered, I think, in even 1000 ADs. Yeah. And it has become more popular probably in the 1970s when they started to go into the research into aquaponics. Yeah, and thereby different methods has come out, like for example deep water culture, like for example the NFT, or we call it the neutron film technique. Yeah, later on I'll share more with you, so at least you have a better idea. Yeah, but anyway, this is actually just a quick snapshot about the history of aquaponics. Okay, so of course, yeah, this page is a bit long-winded, but I would like to bring you through some pictures. Yeah. So of course you can see this is actually a system that we have done in Sungai Tengah. Okay, it's actually so-called collaboration with a friend. Okay, whereby we actually built a grow bed system. We built the fish tank and the tower system for him lah. So basically, this whole system is fully automated. Yeah, fully automated from the watering of the plants all the way to the feeding of the fishes. So everything is automated. Yeah, the only thing that he needs to do is just to make sure that the automatic food dispenser for the fishes is well equipped with all the fish food. Yeah. So I would say that this aquaponics thing is actually very advanced. Okay. Yeah. This picture shows a typical fish pool. Yeah, it looks very overwhelmed, right? Okay, so basically, this fish pool is actually important for the system, all right, as it produces the right nutrients for the plants. So as you can see, for aquaponics, okay, a lot of the vegetables that we grow, right, the size of the leaves can be very huge. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is actually a 60 cm tall Hong Kong Kailan. Yeah. I was also quite amazed. Yeah. From the way it grows up. So it took about almost 2 months to reach this certain size. Yeah. So what I did is that I actually used the leaves to make this thing called 纸包鸡. Yeah. So it's quite nice. I mean, especially being wrapped with aquaponics leaves. So this is some sweet basil, okay, within my small farm. So basically, I have a very small small farm in Bukit Merah, and typically sweet basil they usually grow to a certain height, but this is exploded lah. Yeah, and in terms of the taste, it's very tasteful. Yeah, so what you see over here is actually a Japanese okra. Yeah, and this Japanese okra is from Japan. Yeah, we actually brought the seeds from Japan. We cleared the customs, and yeah, we brought it to Singapore, and then we had a very we have quite a good harvest. Yeah, of okra along the way. Okay, and the good thing about aquaponics is that, I mean, although the leaves can be quite huge, but the taste is actually even better. Yeah, even better in the sense that because typically it is more crunchy, it is more tasty, and sweeter. So what you're seeing here is actually the Japanese mustard. Yeah, but of course not forgetting the fishes also. All right. So I think one of the produce that we come up with is actually fishes as well. So in our small farm, basically we have fishes as our food product also. Yeah. So this is actually some tilapia, and you'll be surprised. We have tilapia that is about this weight. Yeah. Typically a plate size of tilapia is about 500 gram to about a kg lah. Yeah. But for aquaponics tilapia, basically sometimes, I mean, over a 2-3 years period, it can grow to this size. Then I think at the same time, you'll be wondering whether is there any muddy taste. The answer is no. Yeah, and this is a good thing. I mean, especially after a good hard work, then of course when you can harvest the fishes, but we don't purposely harvest the fishes. I mean, we only harvest the fishes when the fishes suddenly drop out of the fish tank, then we'll harvest them, and then yeah, we'll make it into a meal for our friends and families. Okay, so I think, yeah, I mean, this slide also strengthen the taste of actually our aquaponics produce. So I think this is also one of our member, okay, whereby she started growing in her condominium, and she's been growing salad greens, and I mean, this is what she said. I'm just quoting. Basically, it's a tender, flavorful, less bitter, and fresh compared to the store-bought ones. Which is true. Yeah, I mean, today, of course, if you're not going to aquaponics, you might be going into hydroponics or maybe soil farming, whatever things that you grow at home. Yeah, it tastes very different from the ones that you purchase from the various supermarkets. Yeah, so I will encourage you, I mean, to start your journey. Whether is it just to grow through soil, whether is it through hydroponic or maybe aquaponics, start something. Yeah, I think that would actually ignite your interest to grow even more. Okay, so of course, just to share with you some of the types of vegetables harvest that we have. Yeah, I mean, through aquaponics. So of course, through aquaponics, we don't just grow the typical leafy greens, like lettuce, like for example the salad greens and kailan, this and that. Yeah, we also managed to grow some fruity greens. Yeah, so these can range from like okra, from edamame, or tomatoes, or even eggplant, papaya. Yeah, recently we actually grow a very huge papaya. Yeah, and yeah, it's still growing in our farm. Then yeah, we are hoping to harvest the papaya soon. Okay, then of course fishes. I mean, some of our friends might be wondering, wow, I don't want to have so much tilapia within my system. Can I have other fishes? Yes, yeah, you can do so. But typically, not all the fishes can be part of the aquaponic system. Yeah, the reason is this. Actually, in the aquarium system, the fishes depends on this thing called pH. Yeah, which I'll cover later on. So this particular pH, it affects the health of the fishes. Yeah. So for you to do well in aquaponics, right? Because sometimes because of the ecosystem, the whole pH might be affected up and down. So typically, what we have tested is that fishes like tilapia, I mean, they are the most resilient to all these pH. Yeah. Other than that, like jade perch, silver perch are actually some of the consideration that you can have. Yeah. And if you do not want to kill any fishes, no worries. You can even have goldfishes. You can have guppies. Yeah. So that one that is possible also. And of course, typically, if you are staying in a HDB apartment, I would say goldfish is the best choice. Yeah, but goldfish also, you also need to choose the different. There are different types of goldfishes. Yeah, so typically we use common goldfishes for your aquaponics system at home. Okay, so now after covering about the benefits of aquaponics, okay, it's also time to like go through what are the different kinds of growing method. So I guess earlier on, there are actually quite a number of systems that you saw. It actually comprises of many different methods. Yeah. So some of the system you might only just see a media bed. Yeah. So what is a media bed? A media bed is basically so-called like a plastic container. Okay, a plastic container made up of this thing called LICA. Yeah. So this LICA is actually the main site of bacterial conversion. And this bacterial conversion is very important because it actually forms the nitrate for your plants. Yeah. So uh, actually that is actually the answer to aquaponics, which is very important. Yeah. So I think at the same time, uh, it also serves as a mechanical filter for catching the solids. And of course, some of our growers in Singapore, what they do is that they actually put in earthworms into their grow bed. So at least that will actually help them to break down the solids even further. Yeah. Besides being a mechanical filter, the middle bed also serves as a biological filter. Yeah, I mean, as what I've shared for bacterial conversion. Yeah, I mean, when we say bacteria, we are talking about good bacteria in this case. And this bacteria is actually, yeah, converted from nitrite to nitrate. Okay, and of course, is this the only method that you should have? The answer is no. Typically, what some of our members, what they have did is that they actually extend various systems, various methods, okay, to this middle bed system. Yeah. So what I want to say is that middle bed system is actually the start point. Yeah. Then of course, along the way, if you want to put in things like, for example, nutrient film technique, or maybe is it vertical towers, together with the middle bed, you can do so also, because that will actually increase the yield of your vegetables growing. Yeah. So in terms of growing method too, okay, nutrient film technique. Typically, it consists of PVC pipes with holes drilled at interval, and of course, typically this is commonly used in hydroponic system. Yeah, but some of our members they do use it for aquaponics. But there is something that you need to look out for, because for the construct of this whole NFT, of this horizontal size like that, sometimes it kind of trap fish waste, and somehow it is being trapped on the roots. Yeah. So this is something that you have to be careful. I mean, especially we also do not want a mosquito to breed inside the NFT system. Yeah. So I mean, you can choose to use NFT, but you just need to be mindful about the fish waste and also the roots that might actually trap the whole system. Okay, this is actually my preferred method. Yeah, I mean, deep water culture is not a new thing in Singapore. I mean, especially in Singapore, a lot of commercial farms they do use deep water culture, and it's actually a floating raft. Okay, with holes drilled at interval. It's easy to plant and harvest, but the only problem is that it requires a big volume of water with aeration. Yeah. Uh, I mean, for such a setup, it is important that you have a land, okay, to do this. Because of the weight, sometimes deep water culture might not be suitable for rooftop also. I mean, especially nowadays, rooftop farming has become the way to go. Yeah, but whether or not deep water culture can be part of the rooftop farming, it really depends on how much the building can take also. Yeah. But of course, I mean, given the fish pool, yeah, I mean, given the fish waste in the system, deep water culture is one of the best way lah that we use it to grow our vegetables. Yeah. What you're seeing over here at the background is actually the naipai. Yeah. So typical naipai is about probably my palm size. Yeah. But for the for the naipai that aquaponics can produce, it could be double the size of a typical size that you see from outside. Yeah. So some of my friends they were asking, hey, how come our naipai looks like a monster or what? Yeah. But that's the way aquaponics is like. Yeah. Okay. So of course, some of you might be thinking, yeah, I actually don't have a lot of space, but I do have outdoor space. Can I go vertical? The answer is yes. Yeah. So I think vertical tower it's pretty space saving. Yeah. But the only issue is that you need more power. Okay, more power to pump the water to the top of the towers. Yeah. So of course with that, you might need to invest in the better pump. Yeah, in order to to let the water to reach to a certain height. Yeah. But of course, there is also, I mean, for this tower system, is also more ideal for smaller crops lah. Yeah, typically what we meant by 30-day crops, and 30-day crops are typically like for example 小白菜. Yeah, I mean 奶白 can also grow on this system in a very healthy way. Yeah. So you can see the size of 小白菜 over here is also very different from what you see in the supermarket. Yeah. And within this particular vertical tower, we are able to harvest about 50 heads of vegetables. Yeah. And typically, if you were to grow within the same area on the soil, you may only be able to like grow about 8 heads of 小白菜. Yeah, but with this, you can grow about 50. So yeah, it helps to build out your productivity as well. Okay. We also have this the newest method that we are trying, which is Dutch bucket. Yeah, so Dutch bucket is basically a so-called a white peel add-on with the LICA. Yeah. So typically for this growing method, it is more ideal for the larger plants, like for example pandan, as you can see in the picture, or tomato, or maybe even chili padi. Yeah, or this and that. Yeah. So I would say maybe three, not say tree based, maybe big plants. Yeah, big plants will go well with this method. Yeah. So sometimes we have to design. I mean, we have to design. We have to find a design that actually suits what you want to grow, what you want to consume. Yeah. Then from there, then we can just design accordingly. Okay, I mean having shared so much about the overview, the benefits, the growing method, and I guess we come to a very important part of aquaponics. Yeah, a lot of times actually some of our members they didn't do well in nitrogen cycle, or maybe cycling the system. Yeah, it's because it's a process that you can't see with your eyes. Yeah. But having said that, I just want to highlight about this thing about nitrogen cycle. So today, if you were to embark on the aquaponics journey, typically it takes about 3 to 4 weeks lah, okay, before you can introduce any fishes into your system. Yeah. So there will be water that is required, right? So this particular water, probably from PUB or maybe from the rain, yeah, you need to cycle it. Yeah. Because somehow our water contains chlorine. Yeah. And the fact that aquaponics is a natural process, you cannot add in those anti-chlorine chemical. Yeah. you cannot add in any synthetic minerals to boost out the process. Yeah. So the only way is to do it the natural way. Yeah. And I strongly encourage that lah. Yeah. And by doing so, when you introduce your fishes has less stress. Yeah. And your plants can grow even better because there is no interference with any form of chemicals. Yeah. And at this case, you actually enjoy a more cleaner vegetables, a more chemical-free vegetables. Yeah. So, but I mean, besides that, it also allows this thing called nitrification to take place, okay, whereby the bacteria also requires time to be built within the system. All right. So I think that is the important point of a nitrogen cycle. Yeah. But the next thing that I wanted to highlight is actually the recommended parameters. So today, if you were to go into hydroponics, the only thing you need to focus is actually this thing called EC, electrical conductivity. Yeah. But for aquaponics, there is more things that you need to monitor. So things like, for example, pH. Okay. Typically, for aquaponics, the pH it has to be from 6 to 7.2. Yeah. Then of course, ammonia, we usually keep it below 0.25 ppm. The nitrite 0, nitrate is usually 40 to 80. And this 40 to 80 is enough to actually make your whole system, make your plants grow well. Yeah. But you'll be wondering, hey, Terence, how can I do this? Yeah. So in a current context, basically there's this thing called the water test kit. Yeah. By purchasing the water test kit, you can actually find out what are the different parameters as you embark on your aquaponics journey. Okay, so what I have covered today, okay, is actually the very, very basic and probably the introduction of aquaponics. Of course, if you want to know more, you can actually join our social group and also our Kickstart program, okay, whereby we'll go deep into the most important things of aquaponics. Yeah. But of course, at the same time, this whole workshop it actually covers the grow bait for you to start your journey faster. Okay, so with that, we are a social group called Aquaponics Singapore. Okay, feel free to scan this QR code in order to join us. Yeah. Okay, so with that, thank you very much.
Thanks, Terence. It was really wonderful, great information you have provided to our residents. So we have learned something very interesting. To me, I was only aware of hydroponics only when I recently invited me to join for discussions. I came about the aquaponics. So let's.
It was quite. I was just watching this by my Facebook community page, and there was questions already coming in.
Oh, it is
quite interesting questions. So but maybe just to kickstart some of the questions. And Shamendra, in case many of you are not aware, Shamendra is one of our residents network chairpersons. So he has walked his way from his home in Pioneer over here in the studio to share this, and of course to join us in this discussion, because I think it concerns the community and our residents as well. From the Facebook comments, I see a lot of residents and of course the community very excited about whether we can do this in our midst, in our community, as well as like earlier shared in our homes. But the very first question I had earlier, and I want to ask once again to Terence, what's the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics? Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Yeah. So basically, I mean, in terms of spelling, it's very different. Yeah. So for let me just start with hydroponics first. So typically, hydroponic it's It's a way to grow vegetables using synthetic minerals, yeah, to grow vegetables. So I mean, to put it in layman's terms, it's basically using solutions, nutrient solutions, in order to grow vegetables. Whereas for aquaponics, it's about tapping on the fish pool to grow vegetables. Yeah. So it's I would say different methods. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, before I hand over to Shabradani, he has a lot of questions already. But another question that came from my Facebook comments was whether can we do this as part of the community garden? You know, in our grassroots, in our community, there are many other community gardens. Whether this can be brought there because it's out in the open and yeah, in the community.
Okay, certainly. Yeah. So we do see some of the successful projects. I think in Pogo, in most of them are in the eastern side of Singapore. So what they did was that they have the aquaponics system within their community gardens, but because there is no supply of, actually one of the important things that you need is actually electricity and water. Yeah. So but water
For
definitely.
what? The electricity is for.
The electricity is to generate the electricity for the pumps, because basically for aquaponics there will be a requirement for pumps, and you need electricity to pump to use the pump.
For my knowledge, I mean, the pump, is it for the oxygen for the fishes, or is it to keep the water flowing?
It's just to keep the water flowing.
I see.
That is very important. So some of our members, what they did was that they actually hook up solar panel, on top of the system. Yeah, and
so it's doable, like
It's doable. Okay. But in order to do that successfully, you need to have that knowledge of doing the solar system, and at the same time, you need to have the knowledge of aquaponics as well. Yeah. So I would say it's definitely possible.
I see. I see. Your questions. I know you have some burning questions.
Yeah. Some of the number of questions which I need to ask.
Sure.
So regarding efficiency of aquaponics, while some may be in favor of the method, and many also question the safety, sustainability, productivity, and profitability of the method. As a practicing professional in the field, what are your views of this method?
Okay. I do have a very different view in this. Okay. So basically, I mean, through growing with aquaponics, first of all, in terms of food safety, is definitely there, because we must know that there is this stakeholder called the fishes. Yeah. So whatever things that you throw inside, whether is it chemical or whether is it mineral, the fish will show the expression. Yeah. So today, if you are throwing some sort of minerals that the fishes do not like, your fishes will die. Yeah, and your fishes will die, your plants will also die. Yeah. So definitely, I mean, if you want to make sure that the food safety is there, feed your fishes with the right food, with the right amount of food. Yeah. And when the fishes are happy, your vegetables are growing well, your whole system, your produce are very safe. Yeah.
So it's very important to balance this.
But I saw earlier on you shared about a list of fishes that desired. Well, I try to I enjoy aquarium fish myself, so few a bit more technical questions. Yeah, I remember you mentioning you cannot put anti-chlorine.
Yes.
So, but if you cannot put anti-chlorine, then the fishes will not be able to to live or sustain it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our tap water is actually a bit of chlorine there.
Yes. Actually, yeah, quite a bit of chlorine. Yeah. So definitely, I mean, that is also the reason why we recommended whoever who is tapping on this new growing method to cycle the water for at least 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah. So at least with that, right, the chlorine can evaporate away. Yeah. But typically the chlorine can be gone within 1 week. But in order for this thing called nitrifying bacteria to continue to be in the system, to build up in the system, it needs to be the whole cycle needs to be about 4 weeks before you introduce the fishes inside.
Well, thank you for the tip. I learned something today. Yeah. But also just to add on to that, I saw earlier on you had a list of kind of fishes, tilapia,
Yeah.
goldfish, I saw, but I didn't see betta fish. Can we put betta fish?
Betta fish no. Yeah, but today, if let's say if you just want to grow one stock of leafy greens, that's possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I do have some members. They just want to try out. Yeah. They just want to try out to have vegetables growing their fish tank by putting a sponge with the vegetable seeds inside. Yeah, it's workable. Yeah, but that is not the real aquaponics lah.
I see.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one is with the Singapore Food Agency opening up for more opportunity for integrated farming plot within the community. What are some of the key challenges you foresee in the setting up and maintenance of the aquaponics systems?
I think the real challenge here in Singapore is really about people who have knowledge of aquaponics. Yeah, because this is something still probably not so established in Singapore. Yeah, and it requires a lot of research. Yeah, in order to do well. Yeah, so if someone who wants to really go into this business, integrated farming, probably with aquaponics, okay, you really have to make sure you do your homework well. Yeah, for myself, I spent over 5+ years on aquaponics. For me, to be honest with you, I'm still learning. There are certain things that, to grow vegetables well, okay, probably I'm there. But to grow fruits well, I'm almost there, but still not there yet.
So where did you get your knowledge?
So what I did was I actually took out a 6 months course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it available for anyone?
Not really. I have to fly all the way to Australia to study. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually an aquaponics practitioner. Yeah.
Okay.
And what I do during my free time, okay, basically I advise some of the farmers to have their own system within their own farm. All this thing. Yeah.
So if let's say I want to find out more, or I want to set up this aquaponics in my home, in my HDB flat, limited space constraint, I want to find out more how to do the real setup. Is there anything maybe on YouTube or even
the best way is to thanks Patrick. The best way is to join my Facebook group. Yeah, because within my Facebook group, we do have information about how to start
great.
the whole system.
So remember, like
what are
Terence's
Yes.
Aquaponics Association's Facebook page, and to get more information.
Yes.
So all the information there.
Yeah, Aquaponics Singapore. Yeah. So whatever things that is required in terms of how to cycle your system, how to actually what kind of seeds should grow well, where should you find the fishes, all the information are actually inside the Facebook. Yeah, and our members are actually updating their progress. Yeah, in the Facebook group, and I thought that would be a very good learning opportunity for everyone. Yeah. And the best thing is that it's FOC. Yeah, so everyone can just join and learn together, and probably can share your experience in this aquaponics space. Yeah.
So I think in the same context which advisor was asking, what is the I think even I'm sure our viewers also will be having that questions. What will be the typical setup cost if you want to do it in a house, HDB house, like say 40 liters to 60 liters capacity?
Okay. I think earlier on I do have covered some slides on the system within the house, right? So I think there's a system that is done by Toyogo containers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that particular system, the whole setup costs close to about just less than $200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you really just want to try out.
And of course, buy the fish. Fish that don't grow is sold separately, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. The fishes you have to buy later on. Yeah. But you have to get the whole nitrogen cycle start first. Yeah. Before you can introduce the fishes. So that particular system costs the setup cost, provided you do yourself, it's about $200+. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on less than $200. Yeah. Then of course, if you think that you want to have something even better, with a transparent tank, yeah.
Wow.
And with a very nice fiberglass grow bag on the top, that will probably cost a little bit more. Yeah.
So you can customize all this, is it?
You can.
Wow.
Yeah. For me, actually I DIY all my systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think one question that came up also from our viewers and our residents here in Pioneer is we want like in hydroponics, the plants or the vegetables or whatever you're growing grows pretty fast. Whereas this one, how long when we first start it, like the seeds and the seedling before you actually can harvest, for example, some of your vegetables that you mentioned earlier?
So typically, let me just quote example. Like for example, bayam, the white bayam typically takes about 30 to 35 days to harvest.
From seedling?
Yeah, from seedling all the way to its maturity stage in a soil farming stage. But if you were to grow with hydroponic or aquaponics method, right? Probably it just take about 20 to 25 days. Yeah. So that's the difference. I mean, when you use technology to grow your vegetables, and with that method, you can actually have more cycles within a year.
Oh.
Yeah. So instead of growing probably 10 cycles within a year, you can probably grow 11 or 12 cycles within a year.
Well, I think I must try 30 days.
You should.
30 days is not too bad. And I was just sharing with some residents, they were on my Facebook page. They were saying, what's the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics? They are saying, well, there's fishes inside. And I said the advantage of it is when you have fish, you don't have to worry about mosquito breeding. Is that true?
Yeah.
But the fish will eat up the mosquito larva.
That's right. Yes. The important thing is also what I learned during circuit breaker is that because of that period of time, a lot of times you can't buy things. I also have my own hydroponic system at home. And during that circuit period, I couldn't buy nutrient solution.
Yes, right.
But so that is also a problem. I mean, today if you were to tap on hydroponic, you still require to buy a third part. I mean, we can say that you need to buy an external source of nutrient to keep the system growing. But with aquaponics, everything is within one system.
That's right.
Yeah. And
so as long as you feed your fish are kept well, and you have your seeds, you're actually quite self-sustaining. So it's actually quite a good idea for food sustainability, particularly in this day and age where we are quite worried about the next normal and food security and sustainability.
So is that fully sufficient, self-sufficient? Means we don't have to add any food for the plants. Whatever the nitrates which from the ammonia it's converted, is that
okay? Spot on. Yeah. So there is one thing that we usually that the system will require, which is called iron. Yeah. So usually what we do is that we add a bit of food grade iron into the system. So at least this will actually give the plants better iron absorption. Yeah. For a better color of the plants.
Where do you get food grade iron? I mean, is it like iron tablets? I don't know.
It can be from there. Yeah. The most natural way of iron is actually called the seaweed extract. Yeah. So seaweed extract contains good form of iron inside. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, some of the times whereby our plants do not have enough potassium, also we get our nutrient in the natural way. So potassium will be from banana skins. Yeah. So banana skin has a high level of potassium. So we usually cut it in very small pieces. After we grind into powder form and then just put it inside the system.
You can grind it in powder form.
Yes, it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah. But the more important thing is actually, I mean, you can see that my whole aquaponics system, I have two sets of workers inside. So one is actually my fishes, the other one is actually my earthworms. Yeah. So they work hand in hand.
You mean actually put earthworms in the water?
Earthworm in the grow bed. Yeah. Because in the whole process, my grow bed will be filled up with water, but it will also auto flush by itself.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Did you have a picture of your homegrown thing on the Aquaponics Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, great. We'll later again check out Terence's Aquaponics Association's Facebook page to find out and to have a view on the exciting description he shared earlier. Well, I didn't know you need earthworms too. Okay, that's something.
It's ideal. Yeah, it's ideal.
Yeah, that's good to know. And in your talk, you mentioned that vegetables grown through the ecosystem is tasty. So, with respect to that, I also like to check what is the shelf life of this, and is this vegetables grown with aquaponics available easily for public, and Is there any online where the public can go and buy?
So far, if you were saying whether there's any aquaponics produced in Singapore, there is, but they are being sold in very small quantities.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are not a lot of aquaponics found in Singapore. Yeah. Probably there's only a handful of them. Yeah. And their produce is only available at certain period of time.
I see.
But if you really want to taste it, okay, I can offer you some. Then you can let me know. I mean your verdict. Yeah. And for me, sometimes I do bring some of the vegetables over to my colleague, and they really say that it's heavenly taste. Yeah.
Especially salads, when you really.
Especially salad. Yeah.
I think for those of you, I know some of you are into salads and dressings for your various culinary dishes. Yeah, it'd be great to top it up with really homegrown aquaponic vegetables.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but on this point as we are battling COVID-19 and the pandemic and looking at the next normal where we have to have sustainability and food security, do you ever think that aquaponics will be scalable and can we really do it in a very, very big way?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it has been done successfully in countries like, for example, in the Middle East, in Australia, as well as.
Which part of Australia?
Which part of Australia? Actually, most of them concentrated at. Let me see. I think at the Melbourne area.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's right.
So that's where you pick up all your skills. And
yes, that's right. Yeah, in Melbourne, there are actually quite a number of aquaponics farming over there, providing the produce for the hotels within that area.
Okay, well, I'm asking a question because Singapore's weather is very harsh. There's only 2 seasons.
That's right.
The hot season and the wet season. So whether our aquaponics can survive in our temperature and climate, whether it's in the home or in the community garden, do you think it's possible?
It's definitely possible. Yeah. My farm in Bukit Merah is an outdoor farm. Yeah. And my leafy greens has survived. My fishes have survived.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it's about how you design it. Yeah. Yeah. How you insulate the fish tank so that the fishes won't be staying in a very hot and humid weather. Yeah. So if you are talking about the water temperature, okay, for the outdoor aquaponics, I mean in Singapore, is from what I measured is usually about 27. Depends on nighttime 27. Then daytime during the hottest period it can go until 32 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
And with this water temperature, my fishes can still survive, and they are very, very happy.
Because particularly leafy greens, and sometimes in Singapore where you prolong hot weather, 33, 34 degrees, or like 4 or 5 days in a row. So I'm always concerned that especially the leafy greens by all this, whether they can take the conditions. But with water, you're saying it's okay.
As long as you make sure your water is not that hot, it's possible.
I see. So I wanted to ask Terence for some insider tips because he just shared he has a farm in Bukit Merah. So 2 tips that you probably won't get from his Facebook pages. I'm just thinking, what kind of fish do you use for your farm?
Tilapia.
Tilapia.
Tilapia. So in my house, I use common goldfish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed. Let me guess, it's because those fishes poop a lot, that's why they get a lot.
Yes, that's right. Because it's actually the fish pool that gives the nitrate to the plants. Yeah. So if you choose a fish that can produce more nutrients for your plants, when your plants grow better, I think you'll be happier definitely, right? Yeah. So I think it's very important on the fishes that you choose. Yeah. So there are certain fishes like, for example, maybe like sunhawk. Yeah. Can sunhawk be in the aquaponics system? Yes. But does it produce enough fish pool? Actually, the answer is no.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is also the reason some of the fishes, some farmers decided to keep it in aquaculture level rather than aquaponics level. Yeah.
Then what do you? Okay, that's a secret formula. What do you feed your fishes at your farm? But I think the fish feed affects the kind of discharge. that are coming out from them. So what kind of feed do you feed them?
Typically pellets. Yeah,
Pellets,
fish
okay.
pellets. Yeah, but this fish pellet we bought it specially from the
Wow.
country.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow. Okay,
specially
we shall
formulated.
not, we shall not advertise any brands, but
No, no.
yeah. So otherwise, okay, it's fish pellets.
It's fish pellet, yeah. But typically I'm more selective in terms of the fish pellet.
So that the
we have
food
to
come out as more nitrate.
not
sense.
just no nitrate, less chemical. Yeah,
I see.
because some of the things like for example, some of the fish pellet might have more coloring. Yeah,
Yes.
they might contain probably maybe more, I don't know, more chemical that we do not know. So usually I'll look into the content.
Can you use natural feed? Minus if you like bread or
Some
tilapia,
of
right?
our farmers they actually feed them with mealworms. Yeah, that is also possible.
Mealworms.
Some with the black soldier fries also.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Wow.
So that is also possible. I mean, at the end of the day, it's also about creating
The organic food will
That's
be
right.
good for the fish and then
Yes, that's
you have
right.
less chemical. But you're right on the pellets, no? I know many of you feed your tropical fish pellets because pellets are usually to enhance the color of the fish
Yes, that's
and
right.
stuff like that.
Yeah. For us, we don't really look into enhancing the colors. Yeah. What we want to achieve is actually to grow our fishes and vegetables in a more natural way.
So keep them coming, the questions. If you still have questions, we will get them answered by Terence, the resident expert here. On aquaponics. Yeah, I'm trying to, not say hydroponics.
No
Terence,
worries.
you had shown us in the slide that there are certain recommended parameters which has to be maintained:
That's right.
ammonia, nitrate, and
Yes,
I think and pH.
Yes.
How is it easy to control? Otherwise, if something goes wrong, I think we may kill ecosystem. I think, right? So how easy to control?
So typically our members go through our training and we'll guide them. It's not an easy and fast rule. Sometimes you have to calibrate it. Yeah, and of course, certain times you might need to dose some natural formulas into the systems. Yeah, to help to push up the pH or maybe to lower the pH. Yeah, most of the naturally aquaponic system, the pH will drop over time. Yeah. So typically we focus on how we want to increase the pH. Yeah.
So I think we are short of that time. So one is the last one is related to this. What are the myths and misconceptions of aquaponics?
Any
quick
misconceptions on aquaponics?
People would think that aquaponics is hydroponics. Yeah. I mean, it's
Even I want to say hydroponics.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. But I guess other than that, no lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we are around about our end of our program. It's going to hit noon. And,
can I ask one last question?
One last question.
Are you willing to set up an integrated community aquaponics farm employing persons with special needs, elderly, or even underprivileged individuals in Pioneer?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I mean, we can discuss further on this. Yeah.
Okay.
I think important thing is to have a like-minded group of community to come and operate this system together. I mean, we have done so. I mean, with other community within Singapore. Yeah.
Sham sounds interested. So
Yeah,
maybe
yes,
if you live in the Sham zone, he might be experimenting, doing this at a community level. But otherwise, a big thank you for Sham for joining us for today's webinar. And of course, most importantly, Terence from his Aquaponics Association. He has shared so much. I learned so much today from this webinar, just like many of you, knowing the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics. Knowing that you can actually do it in the comfort of your home right here in Pioneer constituency. At the same time, also, if you want to do it in the community or doing it in a big way, it's also possible. Very much chemical-free, very organic, very natural, and sometimes aesthetically very pleasing as well, because you can actually design your aquaponics tank in the comfort of your home.
Yes.
So if you want to find out more, like what Terence mentioned earlier, go to the Aquaponics Association Singapore. There's global ones as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Facebook page to give you more the tips, the videos, and the instructions on how to set up and do a aquaponics setup in the comfort of your home. And with that, I again thank you both of them. And well, we want each and every one of you to do a short survey of this webinar. So kindly, if you can see on the screen, is a QR code. As this is part of our Connect and Pioneer series since we started late last year, we're having this regular series almost every month. We had the legal primer in October, and then in November, December, we had on media habits, where we go on our residents, Carol, to share about media habits for children, and then last month we got SOS to come and share to how to handle crisis, and this month in February, right after Chinese New Year, we had Chagome last night, so happy Chagome to all our Chinese residents, and of course, and Terence here today to share about aquaponics, something which I've learned a lot today. I have fishes at home, but I don't have an aquaponics system.
You can start on soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting me excited altogether. And do give us your feedback on about this Connect and Pioneer series which we are doing every month. Just a heads up to everyone. Next month we are having a special Connect and Pioneer series, also in partnership with our lead initiative here in Pioneer. Because in case you're not aware, we have started a lead initiative called Legal and Employment Employability at Pioneer, where we have monthly free legal clinics which you can sign up for. And of course, we have an employability coach right here in Pioneer, in our Frontier Community Club. So today is Saturday, and the team is actually right here in Frontier Community Club. In case you're not aware, we're powering this and beaming this to each and every one of our Pioneer residents here live from Frontier Community Club. We're one corner in Frontier CC. I won't tell you where, but otherwise, yes. Besides the monthly legal clinics, we also have the employability coach, and finally we have legal primers. We try to organize them, regularly. And next month, in celebration of International Women's Day, we're going to have a legal primer as part of our Connect and Pioneer series on matrimonial issues and challenges. So look out for that, and you can do sign up and tune in live. Also from our Pioneer Community Facebook page, as well as my Facebook community page. And on that note, a big thank you to everyone and for filling out the survey and feedback. And again, a big thank you to Terence making his way all the way from his home and his farm in Bukit Merah to us here in Pioneer for the benefit of our Pioneer residents, and of course Shamindra and myself, Patrick Tay, advisor to Pioneer Grassroots. Big thank you to everyone and have a great weekend ahead. Thanks.
Thank you.